Today, I'm going to be attempting to assemble this Cheez-It Holiday House Kit. This was $15.99 at Meijer, and I just noticed when I set up to film this that it is made by Cookies United. And if you're not familiar with the name Cookies United, that is the same company that makes the cake bites. So the cake bites, the really dense square cakes that they do in different themes, they've done Elf on the Shelf theme. They've done Stranger Things. They did one of a Tiger King. But anyway, that's the people that made this Cheez-It Holiday House Kit. It is 22.5 ounces or 683 grams. It says it includes Cheez-It crackers, pre-baked cheese-flavored cookie house pieces, pre-made icing, and candy simple start tray, which is good. Okay. And then they give you the directions. So here is a closer look at what you get. You get to actually see a picture, but then they do give you directions on how to assemble this. So the thing is am I going to be able to assemble it? This is good until May 31st, 2026. So if they have these left over after Christmas, if they go on sale and you were curious about them, then they're good until May, so there's no point in leaving them on the shelf. You could give it a try. Okay, so, that's the whole box. So you get 2 bags of these original Cheez-Its, and then you get, this is your icing, clearly. It says white icing, 6 ounces. And then you get a baggie of, you get gingerbread people. Let me see if I can get that to work. There we go. You get gingerbread people, and you get candy cane shapes, and you get the little green candy shapes is what you get. And you can see that on the cover of the box too. And then this is your tray at the bottom. And then these are your pre-baked cheese flavored cookie house pieces. So I'm going to get situated, and then we'll start putting this together. Normally I do these house kits over at the table, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to do it this time, so I figure I'll come over here to the counter this time and see how we do on the counter. It just means I'm standing the whole time instead of sitting. I don't know which will be more comfortable. So I'm gonna try it this way, but then I could very well end up moving to the table. Okay, so these are your pieces. You get a piece with a chimney and without. And then you get your roof, one side and then the other side. And then you get your windows. Okay, so the directions say, massage icing pack until icing feels smooth and consistent inside. So this is our icing packet. Okay, it says to start the flow of icing, cut a small opening at one of the corners of the icing pouch. Be sure not to cut the opening too large. Your icing is now ready to squeeze. And then you want to line the 4 canals of the simple start tray with a thin strip of icing, a thin strip. Okay, so this is your canal, and it has some crumbs in it, so I'm going to dump those crumbs in the sink so that it's clean. And I don't know if you can see that, but it has a, there we go. There's a walkway, and it even says Cookies United there, and it's labeled Simple Start Tray. So if you were confused about which of these items is tray, they're letting you know. They do have kind of a tip part on this icing that kind of sticks up, so you can just cut the tip, and so that'll be nice. So right up in here is where I'll cut it. And then we want to put a thin line, it said, in the canal. end up making that tip bigger because this is really hard to get out. I might have made it too thin because I think it's soft enough. It's just, I think I made it too thin. Yeah, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. There we go, that's better. Okay, now it says gently break apart the side panels and detach chimney from the front panel. Detach the chimney from the front panel. Okay, I do not like the idea of that because I'm afraid that I'm going to, that's my biggest fear with this, is that I'm going to break something. But I do have a knife. So, detach. Okay, that came off. And now it says lay out the cookie house pieces on the table. On the reverse, rough side of the front and back panels of the house along the edges, ice a thick line of icing. So, these are the sides of your house. And so we're going to put a thick line of icing on each edge. Using the simple start tray, insert the back panel of the house into the canal. Then press a sidewall against the icing strip on the back panel. Repeat process with the other front. Then it says when the house feels secure, apply a thick strip of icing to the top peak edges of the front and back of the house panels. Gently attach the roof pieces to the house peaks and hold in place until they feel secure. Okay, so what I'm wondering is, are those supposed to go that way, or are they supposed to go that way? That way or that way? I'm not sure. Okay, but we'll just do it, and we're gonna cover it up with Cheez-Its anyway, right? So it really doesn't matter. Okay. Line a strip of icing down the middle roof. Yeah, okay. Then, attach the chimney. Attach the chimney by icing the diagonal edge and gently place it on one roof side. Let the house dry a few minutes before decorating. So here's my chimney. And it doesn't matter if it's ugly really, because we're going to cover the sides up with Cheez-Its. So I'm gonna let this sit here. For me, it's gonna be a few minutes, but for you, it'll just be a few seconds, and I'll be back to decorate it. I was looking at the house, and it says the next step when you get ready to decorate, it says decorate your cookie house, add a cheesy twist with a Cheez-It cracker door pathway and rooftop. Top it off with a candy trim for the crunchiest holiday house you've ever seen. So what I want you to notice is that on the front of this box, they do not have their house sitting in the tray. It's not in the easy tray or whatever the tray is that they, the simple start tray. So your house is down in this tray to hold it in place, but theirs is sitting outside of the tray so you can really see the whole door and all that. So yours is going to probably look a little bit different than theirs. But now's the part where we can start decorating. I did pull out one of these. This is like one of those dip spreaders, cheese spreaders. And I figure I might be able to use that for the door. But I'm going to go ahead and open up my, my bags of Cheez-Its. And I've put them on a paper plate just because it's just easier for me to grab them. You do not have to do that. And then I have a little bowl here for the decorations. Again, you could pick them out of here. You don't have to have a bowl, but it just makes it easier to see what you're gonna grab. Now this is the part that's usually very, very fiddly and that I'm not good at. But I'm gonna put some icing on this and then try to put it on the door. Of course, it's not gonna look anything like their door because their door has lines in it. The last time I put one of these houses together, I ended up using my fingers a lot. Like, because this icing is so thick that honestly, it's just easier to use your finger as to use some kind of a tool. And see, again, we're in that tray, so it's hard to get it to go down to the bottom because that tray is blocking you a lot. They put a Cheez-It on the door, but I don't know why they did that because we just painted it white. So why do we want to cover it up with a Cheez-It? But we could do that. I'm gonna go with use my finger again like I did with the last house. Somebody left me a comment and said that they had never put one of these houses together, and I can just tell you first off that you need to have a lot of patience, and I do not have a lot of patience. You're probably thinking, why are you doing that then? I do not have a lot of patience, but I'm very curious about this house, and every time I put together a house I think that's the last house I'm going to put together because it's very fiddly and time consuming, and it never ends up looking like it does on the box. I mean, they're usually cute, but they're nothing like they are on the box. And I think that's going to be the last house I ever do. And then something comes out that makes me change my mind and I get curious about it. And this is one of those that it's like, oh my gosh, a Cheez-It house. I have to see what that's going to be like. You know, is that going to be worth buying? Okay, so I'm going to put one here at the top in the circle. Whoop. Okay, and they have it going like this. Okay. Oh, see, now they've added extra details. They've added, like, I mean, this was professionally done. Like, they called in Martha Stewart's people and had them decorate this because there's no way that most people are going to be able to do this. Too, that my Cheez-It door took up the whole door, and theirs is really tall. Maybe I should have added more white to mine and made it taller. So I'm pretty happy with my house. I didn't do anything really off camera. I ended up adding some snow to the top of the chimney. And then I added some Cheez-Its to the front, to the walkway. But I have all this candy left over. So if I had wanted to put more decoration on the side, I could have, because I really didn't decorate it that much. I did try to do what they did. But I have all this candy left over. And then I have Cheez-Its left over, so you could munch on a couple of Cheez-Its while you're making it if you want. And then I have plenty, well, not plenty, but I have some frosting left, some icing. So it's not a ton left in there, but some left. But this is what the house ends up looking like. And mine, it's very rough, but it did come together nicely. Honestly, it has come together and stayed together better than gingerbread houses, because once I put the walls up, it really it seemed to stay together well. Now, in the past, I have taken these in the other room to display, because I will display this, and like I'll hear something days later and like something has fallen off. So that could very well happen with this. But right now, it came together easy, and it is staying together. And honestly, I did not hold on to it very long before I started decorating it. I waited like 5 minutes before I started decorating it, and then I was good to go. So hopefully this helps you out and lets you know if you want to buy this or not. I think it's a novelty, and I think it's a little bit, it's something different and cute.